Hello, welcome back to my channel, A Nourished Life and Home. My name is Amanda. I am a homeschooling mom to 4 little children, ages 6, 5, 3, and 1. And I am going to share with you, by popular demand, our daily rhythm and weekly timetable and kind of how I structure our days and weeks. So if you like this homeschooling content and motherhood content, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, share with a friend. And I wanted you to know that with each video, my goal is to have an in-depth blog post posted as well. I don't always get it done on time, but that is the goal. So please check the description below to check out the blog. My goal is to be creating guides and printables for you to take ideas and implement them in your own homes for a nourished homeschool and home life. So thank you for being here, and let's get started. So today I'm going to be sharing with you kind of how I plan. This really is dependent on the season of life we're in. So I kind of have a plan for our ideal, and then I have a backup plan, like a buffer plan. So if someone, if I'm not feeling well or someone gets sick, I kind of have a backup plan. So I'll share that in another video. But this is my ideal that I've put together, and some things have really stuck well and some things have needed to be tweaked over the years and over the months. I feel like at this age, kids change so much every 6 months. So I just need to be adaptable and thoughtful in our planning. So hopefully something that you learned today from how I do things, you'll be able to tweak and implement in your own home, and hopefully it really brings life into your days. Okay, so honestly, we plan our days and our months and our weeks around my husband's work schedule. He works a shift schedule. It's kind of what I base everything off of. We use the weekly family plan from Family Teams. But this is kind of how we plan out our week so that everyone is on the same page. I put all my husband's work days in my calendar, my family calendar. I color code them so he is a certain color, so I always know when he's working, because we have a little bit of a different schedule when he's working. And then I put it into our weekly calendar, and then I take that and I make our school schedule. So I have our weekly timetable right here, and I did Monday through Sunday last year, and it just kept throwing me off because that's just not how our life works. So then I broke it down to, okay, my goal is 4 intentional days of school every week for formal lessons, and then I have buffer days and I have our Sundays. We do not Sabbath on Sunday because we have really small children, and it takes all of our effort to get to church and come home. By the time we come home from church, it's nap time and the whole day is gone. So it doesn't feel like this deep family rest. So we do that on a different day. So between, church on Sunday, having our Sabbath day, and then my husband's schedule, 4 days of getting school in a week is like a win. And so I schedule around that. So anyways, I have 4 days of school. I have our buffer days. So if it's a day that I know we are not going to be able to sit for an hour at the table, I have a plan for how we meaningfully use our time towards everyone's education. I also had mentioned in my planning video how I don't plan much for kindergarten, which I feel like just does everyone a disservice, because I don't schedule like pages to read for kindergarten. But I really feel like from the time our children are born, they are in kindergarten until formal lessons, and we've just set up our home to facilitate learning and have beautiful ideas going into my children's minds and giving them meaningful work and growing in capabilities. So I would do a more in-depth video on kindergarten and the nursery and using Charlotte Mason's principles and philosophy in those years. So I don't want to give you the impression. I feel like sometimes when I hear moms say, oh, we don't plan anything before age 6. Well, I was that eager homeschooling mom with a 3-year-old that was like, give me the box curriculum, we need to do something productive. But over the years, I've just learned to set up our home life to give children meaningful work at every age and helping facilitate their education that way. So we're always learning and we're always laying that foundation for formal lessons in the later years. But really, when education is an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life, like Charlotte Mason says, then all of these things in the way I set up our home facilitate that learning even in kindergarten and the nursery. So I'll do a more in-depth video on that. But at this point, with having a formal student, my younger ones get to participate in all of this and have something for them to do. So I just wanted to give that little caveat. If you heard that in my last planning video and thought, oh, well, my child isn't formal lessons yet, so this doesn't apply to me. I still think that kinders and nursery age children need structure and they need meaningful work. And so this is for them too. And I will do a more in-depth video on that later. So I just wanted to clarify that. Anyway, so we have our days, and then I have, this is like a block schedule mixed with looping schedule. So it's a block schedule in the sense that we have blocks of our day. Like we have our morning time, and then, which is get up, eat breakfast, and then our cue to start our morning routine is cued by finishing breakfast. So there are things that each of my children do in our morning routine. We live by visual timers in our house, just to help curb dawdling and be on task and efficiency and things like that. So this is one of my children's morning routines. They're all the same except for this last part is individual to the child. I like having the pictures because the majority of my children cannot read yet. And so I put a 45-minute timer on. My 5-year-old and my 3-year-old finish in like 15 minutes. My older one has a little bit more responsibility, and so I give her that 45 minutes to be looking at the timer, and she can check in with that to see and make sure she stays on task. Make their bed. We just do the Betty's beds for my 5-year-old and my 3-year-old sons. I did not want to have to manage them making their beds as much as, like, my oldest, my daughter, she is great at making her bed. And the boys, we could do that. We could be habit training them to make their bed well, but it just does wonders for me to see their beds zipped up. If you don't have the zippered beds, I highly recommend just having the expectation of one blanket. We don't do sheets. We do a bottom sheet, a fitted sheet. We don't do the loose sheets. So the boys just have, or my daughter, she doesn't have the Betty's beds. One blanket, or zip up the Betty's bed and we fold the other blankets. So I try to make it super, super simple and doable, and just so that they get in the habit of when they walk in their room and they see a nicely made bed, that is the normal. And so it just facilitates that habit of cleanliness, of order, of excellent work, of doing their best. And so that is what we do. And then they can do these in whatever order they want. I have some children that they want to go, this is next, this is next, this is next. I have other children who want to do something first. I don't care. These just all need to be done and checked in with before we move on. So then they go potty and brush their teeth. I used to just have, get ready for the day. And then I realized, oh, they need steps. We're not brushing our teeth in the morning. That needs to go on here so that we get in that habit. So I put it on here if it needs to be done. So we go potty, brush teeth, they get dressed and brush their hair. And then we have morning prayer. And then their specific home chore or responsibility and habit. We just call these their morning jobs. So when they're done with breakfast, you say, okay, what's your morning job? And with each of these steps, I really like to think of the specific child. What can they do? What are they capable of doing? What are they ready to level up in? What capabilities can they grow into? And then as they're growing in these habits, I think I heard it from Simply Charlotte Mason. When helping your child with a new habit, she goes through 5 steps. So with each child in that step, you start out by showing them the task. That's number 1. Number 2 is letting them help you with the task. Number 3 is letting them do the task and you help them. Number 4 is letting them do the task and you watch them. And then number 5 is letting them do the task and you check it. So my 5 and 6-year-old are at that step. And so if I add something new, I just updated these. So we are at that step where I am having to walk more hand in hand with them, but that will only be like a week or 2 with my older ones. And then we will be at step 5 where they do the task and I check it. So while the older 2 are doing their morning tasks, I am helping the 3-year-old. So he is going to be at this step of him doing it and me watching him, or him doing it and me helping him for a while. So it's going to vary per child. So I am the one that is right next to him, holding him accountable and allowing him to take little baby steps towards full independence in these things over time. So I will go in there and I will help him line up his bed so that he can zip it. I will help him get dressed and help keep him on task. And so he used to all last year just feed the fish, and that was his morning task. I just updated these, and now he will feed the fish and he will wipe down the glass of the fish tank so that there's not fingerprints all over it. So we slowly habit stack over time. So this is for my 3-year-old. And then my 5-year-old, he used to just tidy up the living room for his last morning job. And that was good. And then I realized, okay, he is getting done so fast and I really think he's ready to level up. So now he tidies the living room, and you have to go through those habit training steps to explain what your expectations are. What does a tidy living room mean? It doesn't mean we shove all the toys under the couch. We put them where they go. We neaten the books, things like that. You need to communicate your expectations. And then, so he tidies the living room and then he vacuums. This has been so helpful and he's so good at it, and it just has moved him up to that next level of building confidence and knowing that his contributions to the family really matter. And that is really fun. So he used to just tidy. Now he tidies and vacuums. And that is an every morning thing. And then my daughter, her after breakfast chore is to unload the dishwasher for us. Very, very helpful. And then I was realizing in our school lesson block, we always had piano at the very end, and she was just exhausted by that point. And if we didn't do it, we just didn't do it all week. And we pay for in-person lessons, so it's really important that we practice, and we don't want to just pay this money and not have her be practicing, but she's still at the age where that's really on me. She's not at this self-motivated, I'm just going to go practice. And anyways, so I put it on here because I wanted it to happen. Just like I do for myself, if I want something to happen, I have to schedule it. I have to write it down. I have to have a visual cue. So this is the visual cue for my children. So after she does her unloading the dishwasher, she will practice piano, and that is for her. When it's done, there is an evening routine, and it is the same for all, but it just kind of helps them keep on task, and they love having this on the fridge. They know which one is theirs, and it just gives them this sense of, oh, this is my job, this is my meaningful work to do this morning, and it's been a huge blessing to our family. Okay, so that is our morning time block. Once that is finished, they're free to go play. They can go play until 9 o'clock, and 9 o'clock is when we officially start more of our structured morning time. I have outdoor time written on my weekly timetable. This really helps with our little children and their energy and their ability to attend readings and lessons, more of a formal lesson time. So we go outside. I have found it helpful for me to go outside too, because outdoor time is good for mom too. And so we have everything that they need at the back door. We have our sock bin there. We have our shoes and our coats, and everything is right there to make it easy to get outside in the morning. So we'll go outside, and then I have our sports, drill, gymnastics, singing games, things we can do outside. Sometimes they just want to run around, and I'll just let them do that. But if they're kind of dragging their feet to get outside and I can tell that they need something constructive to do, I will facilitate more of that. Okay, we're going to play this game, or okay, everybody line up and we're going to do this. And that's been really fun outside. Sometimes they just want to play in the dirt, and I let them do that. We're getting fresh air. We are experiencing nature. That's wonderful. Sometimes I send them on an obstacle course, or running around the house, or doing jumping jacks, or playing soccer to just get a little extra energy out. After we do that, we come inside and we practice sitting in church. Our children sit with us, especially from age 4 on. They love it. It helps them feel like a part of the body of Christ, and they can see everything that we're doing. They're worshiping with us. So we have to practice that, though. We have to practice having self-control. So I use coming indoors after getting all our energy out to do that. So they take everything off, their shoes and their coats, and then we come and sit on the couch. Sometimes I will play our hymns on our speaker. Sometimes I will play the Bible. I really like using the Dwell Bible app, and there's a children's translation on there. I don't use that as our Bible lesson time, but they just enjoy hearing children reading the Word of God, and they grab their little Bibles, they sit on their cushion. Before these ages, when they were like 3 and under, we did blanket time. So they each had their own blanket. They had one activity and a book, and they would sit there, and I would set the timer, and they just learned to play independently and have self-control during that time. And I would read or do my Bible time or just listen. Screens are put away. I really try hard to keep all screens of my own personal use put away when my children are awake. And I just find that is crucial. So I'll just sit here and I'll either just watch them, or I'll read my book or my Bible, or I'll just be planning our morning. And that is really helpful during that time. We just set a timer. I do a 30-minute timer. This also coincides if the baby is going to take a morning nap. We would do that. I'm habit stacking within all of these things. I hope you see that. And then we do our morning basket, and I will go through that in the next video, so stay tuned for that. And then we will do, that's where we have like our Bible, our poetry, our recitations, our Spanish songs, because we're learning Spanish this year. And then we will end our couch time with another physical thing. So that kind of helps transition to the table. So then once we're done with that, that's like our habit training time. We'll also do laying down the rails for children during that morning basket loop. And I have over here, so I have our blocks, right? And then over here in the notes section, I have what we will loop. So if my children's attention isn't there for the whole basket, I have, okay, we're going to hit this, and the next time we'll hit this, and the next time we'll do this. So some of the things that I have looped is we always do morning prayer and Bible. I will loop our artist, so our artist study, composer, so we'll listen to composer pieces and read biographies and things like that. Habit, so the laying down the rails, and then our tales and literature, I will do that here on the couch. It's more comfortable for me. And then, yeah, so that is our morning time. Then we'll transition to the table. Sometimes if we're having a really hard time or having difficult attitudes, I will just do a quick tea time. So this is the time they'll go to the bathroom, sit at the table, we'll have a cup of tea and a snack, and then we'll transition into our table time. So our table time, we always have writing and math, and then I will do our history, natural history, geography, word building, all of that. So I have our loops over here. We'll do our nature calendar. So I put loop history, geography, modern language, and spelling. You could also break it down into, so what a loop is, it's you're going to do that subject or that resource, and then the next time, whenever you're doing table time, you'll just move to the next one. So it's not like we're going to just do our word building on Monday and listen to an audiobook on Tuesday and then do phonics on Wednesday. It's, okay, we're going to do our word building, and then the next time we sit down at this table time, we are going to do our audiobook, and then we are going to do our phonics the next time. So it just helps us to hit each subject instead of, oh, every Thursday we always miss history, which is what happened last year. And so I stuck it in a loop so that we would at least hit it. So we always will start with our writing, and then we will do math, and I try to make sure that things are varied so my children are not expending one part of their brain. We will be going back and forth so they can remain refreshed and interested, and my kids are so excited to go to the table, which is a win. And then I will also loop brush drawing, clay modeling, chalk drawing, those things that are more artistic, and using that part of their brain as well. So on a foundational day where we're not feeling good or we just need to get the bare bones done, we will at least do something for our morning basket and sitting down and doing Bible. And then we might just go to the table and do writing and math, but we're still hitting more of a broad feast and not just sticking to the 3 R's, because I really think children need more than just the 3 R's. So, and then we will, I have piano on here, but since piano is in our morning time now, we probably don't need that. But we do have a workbook that our piano teacher has us go through, so that'll be the time that we'll do that at the table. And then they get to go play. So I don't like the table time to last more than an hour and a half. Everyone joins the table, so we have a pretty small table, and it's just full of all the stuff. And my boys know that they have their own school bin that has all of their, this is part of the habit stacking, is we have a queue, which would be going to the table, and then we have their own bin that has, okay, if you want to join us at the table, this is the meaningful work that you can do, or you can go outside, or you can go read a book on your bed. Those are the options. And I think that's what gives that structure of the kindergarten time. It's like, it's not a free for all. You get to go do whatever you want all the time, because my children, if they have that option, they don't always make the best decisions. And so I have set it up to where, okay, these are the beautiful ideas for you. This is the meaningful work that you can do with your hands. These are your options. That's where the freedom part is, within those boundaries. We have a math drawer, so during math time, they get the math stuff out, whatever. They love it. And then they can draw on our chalkboard too. So after our table time is done, they go play. That's around 11 o'clock. Yeah, then typically we go back outside. We'll go outside, and that's when I do a lot of my leisure reading, or I'll work in the garden, or we'll go on a little walk. I'll read books to the baby, I'll play with the toddler, I'll get lunch going, I might start dinner, just prep something for dinner. That is super helpful for the evenings. And then we'll transition into our lunchtime, which is around noon. If there is a reading, that's another tip that I have been implementing, is if there is a reading portion at the table time that I had scheduled, like let's say it's our natural history reading, or it's one of our biographies, or it's more fairy tales, if I don't get to it in that table time because the attention was just gone, I will stick it into our lunchtime. So while my children's mouths are full and we're all at the table, I will bring out that book and we will read it, and I can ask for a narration from my oldest after she is finished eating. So that works well. Before the kiddos go down for naps and quiet time, which is from 1 o'clock to 3, and I think that's just going to be a thing our entire parenting journey. If you're in our house from 1 to 3, it is quiet time. So you can either nap, my husband naps every day, and then my little ones nap every day. My 5-year-old naps a few times a week, and then my 6-year-old will nap sometimes, especially if she really needs it. But while the little ones are going down for naps, I will bring my daughter aside for a reading lesson. I started this when she was 4, and it started because she really wanted that one-on-one time with mommy, and she was eager to learn how to read. And so we would just sit down for 5 minutes and play with letters and go over letter sounds. And now it is more, she's a fluent reader, and she will just read to me for 10 minutes. So that has been, we'll do word building at the table during table time, and then she will read to me for 10 minutes before nap time, and then she will go have her quiet time. I have some quiet time baskets for my 2 older ones that has their meaningful work to do at quiet time if they're not going to be sleeping. I've also started including my 5-year-old in that before nap time reading lessons a little bit. So we'll just do something for like 3 to 5 minutes of playing with letters. We start with the short sounds of the vowels and very, very basic letters, but he just wants to do it so bad. What we might do too is I might just get some great picture books from the library with the letters. So I am in the process of building a guide for the little years, like the nursery and the kindergarten, with all of our favorite resources for that. So stay tuned for that. If you want more information on that, please put your email and get on my email list, and I will let you know first when that is available. We do about 5 minutes with him. He just wants that one-on-one mama time too, so I've been including him in that. And then while the kids are down for naps, that is my work block. My goal this year for our school time is before I start my work to lay out a afternoon invitation for them at the table. What I might do is have an art invitation at the table, have a play invitation in the living room or outside, and that is what they can wake up to so that they know, oh, mama set this out for us, and you don't even have to say anything. I am not the mom that is very structured and organized in like a craft time. That's never been me. I've never enjoyed that. And so I prefer to just lay out the tools for my children to kind of take it where they want it. I might do a little portion myself and they can be inspired by watching something that I do, but I would much rather just lay out the paper and the color pencils or the watercolors and just say, go for it. And then put a play invitation in the living room or outdoors, whether that is painting with water or water balloons or whatever. Something special at their mud kitchen or trains in the living room, something like that. So afternoon invitation, I like to, my goal is to set that out before I start my work, because once I'm involved in my work, I just am like so focused, because you know, moms can get a lot done when they have 2 hours uninterrupted, like a lot done. So that's what I do. And then sometimes, you know, if I'm not feeling good, I don't do my work block. My husband does give me a work time when he's off. And so I'll just save it for that time. If I really need to just read a good book or spend more time in my Bible or spend some time journaling or taking a nap, that's when I do that, and that moves to the top of my list. So then they'll do the afternoon invitation. I have a loop on here to lay out brush drying, paper sloyd, which is similar to origami, and paper folding, cardboard modeling, that kind of thing, drawing or clay modeling or Play-Doh. That is the kind of art invitation I'll set out at the table, and then play or books or whatever. And if we need just like an atmosphere reset in our home, even after nap time, let's say people woke up cranky or I'm cranky, I might just lay out a tea time invitation where we have great books, we have poetry, we have our composer pieces going. I make a snack. While I'm making the snack, I'm praying and I'm just asking the Lord to change our home atmosphere for a more restful afternoon. So I'll lay out at tea time, and I think that's a favorite for the kids to wake up to. They just see tea, they see food, and it helps to just redirect our afternoon in the right direction. And then after our afternoon invitation, we have afternoon occupations. These are the things that my children have these skills and capabilities in, that they can just go do whatever, whether that's, whittling wood, whether that's playing in their mud kitchen, drawing, making a book, writing a letter, all of those things. They can do more brush drawing or coloring or just play. They just love to go play. Play in the garden, pick snap peas, whatever. That's their free leisure playtime. And then we start our evening routine. I start making dinner around 4 or 4:30, and then we have a sit-down family meal between 5 and 5:30, and then we will do our evening wind down routine where they do, no, there you go. So we do our after dinner tidy where we just clean up, and then we'll do a bath or a shower and they brush their teeth. Then they get dressed and brush their hair, and we have our family Bible and reading time. My husband will read like Little Pilgrim's Progress. We love doing our 24 Family Ways from the Clarkson family as like they do a great job of doing step-by-step Bible time. And then we'll pray together and send the children to bed. Sometimes we'll let them wind down with like 10 minutes of reading and then lights out. Sometimes, if it's really late, it's just time to go to bed. That's what we do. So that is our weekly timetable and kind of our daily rhythm. We also have one day a week that is our Sabbath prep day. That is our family work day. And the expectation is, we might do a little bit of school, but it would be more of that buffer day school that's like, okay, we're going to do our morning time and Bible, maybe handicraft and math and reading, and then it is all hands on deck to help clean the house so that we can have a restful Sabbath. And then the next day will be our Sabbath family day of rest. I don't require morning tasks to be done. I don't care if people stay in their pajamas. Typically, our habits are so ingrained that we just get ready for the day anyways, but it's just a family, carefree, restful day that we don't do formal school. We still read great books. A lot of times I will really get into our family read aloud that day. All right, I hope this was helpful for you. Remember to put your email down below in that link if you would like that in-depth kindergarten guide for the little years and the nursery years, and just setting your home up to facilitate that learning and meaningful work and atmosphere, discipline, and life of the little years, because I do think it's important to be intentional, even if we're not rigidly scheduling page readings and things like that, as we might do more in the formal years and asking for narrations and things like that. We're just setting up the foundation for those things to be lovely and wonderful and delightful when they are ready for that. So I hope this was helpful to you. Please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye, friends.